You find yourself shipwrecked on an unknown planet in an uncharted part of space. Your crew is missing and the communication systems are down. You search the area around you and find a lone piece of survival gear. Unknown horrors lurk in the darkness. Armed with only a few tools and your wits, you'll have to fight for your life. Alone. If you find this review to be helpful, make sure to leave a comment and let us know. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to join the community with a subscription. Alone is an asymmetrical sci-fi horror game for 2 to 4 players brought to you by Horrible Guild. As backers start to receive their Kickstarter pledges, we thought it'd be a good time to give our take on this beast of a game. Alone features an alternate take on the one versus many gameplay style, pitting a single hero player versus up to 3 evil masterminds. This is the main reason I backed this game, and I was excited to play. I've played many games at Descent and Imperial Assault, which features the one versus many, but those games would feature a group of heroes versus a single enemy game master. So does this alternate take on the format work? Kind of. Let's dive deeper. The hero has an assortment of starting characters to choose from. The core set comes with 4 characters that are playable in the companion campaign, and there are several other player characters available from the expansions and the Kickstarter exclusives. I didn't find the additional characters to be overly powerful, and I wouldn't miss them if they weren't available to play. But I do enjoy having the variety of the option. It helps build additional replayability. The hero gets a deck of equipment cards that serve different purposes and helping the player reach their mission goal. To do this, the hero has several different actions they can take each turn, and I found the actions to be very thematic, and it doesn't take long to grasp what the game wants you to do. The hero will have a time limit, as the longer they take to explore the station and complete their primary and starting objectives, the more powerful the enemy becomes, and eventually a drain effect will take hold of your character's life total, or sanity in this game. As your character takes damage though, they get more adrenaline pumping through them, and this adrenaline lets you trigger what they call bullet time to take additional actions each turn. This is where the decision dilemma comes to play, as your use of bullet time can affect the outcome of your overall success. Starting off, you only have a few of these tokens that you can spend for additional actions, but as the game dives deeper into the dungeon, your character will have more options for additional actions, and the frequency and the quality of these actions do play into the overall theme of Alone. Maybe you run into a monster you just can't handle right now, so instead of doing a single move action, you spend a bullet time to move again. I see it as sprinting down the hallway as the monster is lurching behind you. Or when you need something dead, you take 2 combat actions to hopefully kill the monster before it has time to strike. The evil player or players will take on the role of the game master. They will select the configuration of the map and decide where the hero will start their adventure. Being the evil player at first will feel very overwhelming. You'll have a grip of cards, you don't know exactly what's best to use. You'll be triggering danger tokens throughout the map, and the decisions of where you place them will matter much later in the game. These hurdles, while at first were very much of a turnoff, are easily overcome with just a few rounds of playing. From the outside perspective, the evil player's board will look like a jumbled mess of tokens and icons. But to the evil player, you're going to see a masterpiece of traps and deception as you've laid out a labyrinth of death for the hero. The additional players on the evil side can help ease the burden of stress with pushing out the duties to each other player. This might seem like a benefit, but the added players can cause a breakdown of a single strategy, as each person has their own opinion on how to best handle each turn. There is a head evil player that will rotate each round, but I found that in reality, I didn't want my fellow evil players. I wanted to paint my masterpiece alone. So does the game work? In my opinion, and those of us here at Game Brigade, we found that Alone worked very well as a 1v1 game. But the role you could play can make a big difference in your enjoyment of the game. And I only found myself wanting to play the hero. The claustrophobic feeling of trying to figure out the station's map, the locations of each specific room, and really diving deep into the role play aspect of a Dead Space game really captured a sense of immersion I haven't felt in a board game in a while. I do feel that the evil player can make or break the immersion though. While not part of the rules, I really enjoyed it when the evil player would give me a bit of a verbal description as I entered each room. The light flickers as you enter the medical bay. Blood is strewn all over the floor and tables. Lurching in the corner, you see a man beating his head against the wall. He slowly turns to face you as the door closes behind you. I completely nerded out at stuff like this. Using the explore action, which is effectively like shining your flashlight down a hallway to illuminate for a brief section, created a sense of dread and wonder. Horrible Guild really nailed it out of the park with the immersion aspect. As the evil player, I felt like it was my duty to create a good experience for the hero. I wasn't necessarily trying to kill them immediately, but allow them to feel like they were searching through an abandoned space station. I can easily see the evil player not being quite as enjoyable for everyone, but Jessica found the role to be her most enjoyable. And I found this to be very interesting as a big reason as to why this game can work. The additional monsters that come in the expansion packs, as well as the Avatar expansion, give the evil player a bit more presence on the board and transforms them from being a custodian to an actual player. I don't know how much I like the fact that it'll take an expansion pack to get the most full experience out of Alone. This isn't a game without its flaws. There are definitely aspects of the game that detract from the enjoyment, but I wouldn't say they're enough to warrant skipping this game. Let's discuss one of those key aspects that I found most attracting. It's combat. Combat is fairly simple and controlled through rolling dice. There are 3 possible outcomes: hit, miss, and special. The special result will be based on the conditions of the specific tile that you're on, either being lit or illuminated, or dangerous, having a danger token on it. The lit tiles will benefit from the hero in most situations, while danger tokens will help the evil player. With combat though, each specific monster you'll be facing has 2 or less life. Damage does not stack through each combat phase. If you deal 1 damage to a creature with 2 health, you effectively dealt 0 damage. But let's say you use some of your rare ammunition to add more dice to your roll, and let's say you deal 5 damage. You would only wound the creature instead of killing it. The additional damage, those 3 extra points, doesn't actually do anything. You'll need to take an additional turn to kill the creature. And that additional turn, you better make sure that you dealt enough damage that time as well to kill it. The reason I dislike this game is because of the time constraints the game places on you. A failed attack could lead to an unneeded damage on the hero and a loss of valuable turns later in the game. I had a specific situation where I was coming close to the final room. I didn't want to waste my ammo on the single creature because I wasn't sure what I was going to face in the finale. I ended up facing a worm, and I spent 4 turns trying to kill this thing. Those 4 turns ended up with me losing half my overall health, and eventually cost me the game when I ran out of time during Nightmare Mode. I understand the reasons why they choose to do the decisions they do, but every time you add dice to a game, you're adding more of a luck-based result rather than a skill-based result. Overall, I'll definitely bring Alone to the table as I find its gameplay unique and compelling. The feeling of claustrophobia is an experience I haven't felt in a board game. The quality of the decisions that the hero players do give a sense of immersion, and I can see how some players might have a decision paralysis, as when you start the game, you're facing a completely blank board. The idea of what I should do that is correct can stall the game. To overcome this, I actually told each player, just do what you think you would do in the situation if you were there. And that seemed to help people move forward and start exploring the station. Like, shine your flashlight. Where do you want to go? These little decisions would help take the next step. Alone has a relatively easy teach once you know the game, and it isn't hard to bring new players to the table. Overall, it's a solid game, and I would recommend anyone who's looking for a new take on survival horror.